Okay, I want to say a few things, but I'm not gonna have enough time in the short little clips I could do on the internet, on YouTube. But I believe that when it comes to relationships, I believe the man and the woman are teammates, but I believe that the husband is the coach and the wife is the team captain, and the players that are on the team, that's your children, your friends, your problems you deal with, your work, the instances that come up, the problems that come up in your relationship, and how you're, and the play is how you're going to get through it and deal with it, and you're going to go for the touchdown. No team goes, well, I mean, we don't have, we failed, 3 times to stop them from making a touchdown, so we might as well just call it a quits. We might as well just give up, let them win. I mean, I know we still have 3 more, innings. I know we have, this and that. I know we have 7 more rounds in the boxing ring, but we lost, the first one. Might as well just give up. That's how society's looking at relationships now. I mean, might as well just give up. There's no point throwing the towel, instead of actually working through it. And I mean, it's like, I mean, I'm not much into sports, but I think that was a great analogy. But it's also like, I mean, if who's it? Leonardo da Vinci is the one that made the Mona Lisa. What if like just out of nowhere he was like, I'm gonna quit this. I'm not gonna finish it. Mona Lisa never would be born. Maybe born. Um, if, I think it was Raphael and Michelangelo that made that did their work in. I think Raphael did the architecture, and I think Michelangelo did the paintings on the Sistine Chapel. What if they just said, I'm not gonna finish. That Sistine Chapel would never be formed, never been built. So I think honestly, when it, or like if the Rice brothers never said, I'm not gonna planes. I mean, and I think honestly, it comes into building a foundation like that for your family and structure. That helps your family grow and in numbers and memories and in love and with understanding. Um, but I mean, emotions are fleeting, so I don't think they should be something that is used to. You shouldn't be using feelings as your cement to keep your bricks together. You shouldn't be trusting emotions to build be the bricks, and because emotions are so weak when it comes to life and the weathers and the elements of nature. Emotions get so rattled and rocks. It's the values and morals that hold your foundation together. It's the communication and the honesty and the ability to control your emotions and not take shit so personally, and to be able to keep a level head and to have an open conversation, have an open mind, and you know, but understand. I mean, and understanding that men and women are different. But we're also not. We are so similar, so different at the same time. We just have. I think we're so similar because of the human race, but we're so different because of the two sides of the coin. If you actually think about it with logic and reasoning, you know, and actually really think about it, like we are like just a mirror image of each other, a reflection of each other. I mean, if you put men in, and flip it to females, we are just the same. But if you take women and flip it to the males, we're just the same. We are not that different, and I mean, we just see things differently. We comprehend things differently. I think it's the same thing. Like me and my old lady. I mean, I love it because we get on the same page a lot, and I love it. Um, and she understands rationality. She understands logic. She knows I'm not saying things. I mean, but she also knows I'm very direct. I'm very dominant, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend to be into something that I'm not. All right. But she also knows that if she wants to do something, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to her that I participate and do it with her. She could probably twist my arm to get me to do it because I love her, and I don't like. I mean, after a while, that kind of mindset just weighs on people, and I know that if you do that too much, you know, you can isolate your significant other, where she feels like she's not good enough, and That's when you get the erratic emotions and all that. And you get her in her head and all that. And that's the last place you want a woman. You know, all right, you don't want a woman feeling bad in her own head. All right, no, you don't want that. Um, you want her. I mean, you want her out in reality. You want her out in life. You want her, enjoying life and being happy. I mean, though it is hard to keep them happy, but it's not impossible. Um, but yeah, I think that's a little bit life. I mean, from what I just came to have this understanding. I mean, and it's not. I mean, and when it comes down to it, like everybody's important on the team. Um, my kids have their role to play as kids. I have my role to play as a parent. So does my wife. She has her role to be a wife, and I have my role to be a husband. Just like the kids have their roles as being the older sibling, the middle sibling, and the younger sibling. And just like like unfortunately, as much as my son might be the youngest, he is going to be raised and treated like he's the oldest because he's my son. And especially because he's my first son, and that's just how life is. My son will be looked at as the oldest, even though Serenity is actually my oldest. Her brother is the oldest. Her brother is who she goes to for advice, who she goes to talk to. He does not go to them to talk about his problems. He comes to me if I'm still around, or his guy friends, or he mans up. And that is not saying like, oh, man up, like, oh, you can't cry. No, that means like men do not allow and are just because we don't go erratic and cry over everything and can't form a full fucking sentence without spazzing out or acting like you're about to burn out a circuit board does not mean that we don't feel and have emotions and don't we are calculating and contemplating and being our own therapist in our head and dealing with it the way that we deal with it, how men deal with it. Um, Typically when you spaz out and I think there's two reasons whatnot when a man spazzes out and hits something. It's he doesn't have a good circle to fucking go to and vent to. He doesn't have control or rationality about his emotions. Um, and or his wife nags him and tries to get him to talk to her. That he does not want. You're not going to be able to handle you if he just opens up. You're not going to be able to. He's not going to just. It's not. It's going to be anger and wrapped up with all the other emotions. It's going to be wrath. He's going to be. I mean, especially if he has any problems with you, he's going to be even more calculating on how to handle and all that because he just knows that's going to be a fight. Whether or not it's rational and whether or not it's logical and whether or not he has a point on how he feels, women are just going to take it personally and it's going to end up turning out to be where he needs to consult you and not you consulting him. All right? So he'd rather just keep those fucking thoughts to his head and just bite his tongue off and deal with it instead of bringing it up to you. And I'm sorry, but like, there's only so much time like a man can deal with a childish woman that thinks she's not a childish woman and wants to act like she has all the answers and she's an adult. Especially when you won't. I mean, my daughters are definitely like, you don't get in a man's face, you don't talk down on him, you don't raise your voice to him. And in doing so, he's gonna talk to you like an adult. Just because he's very direct doesn't mean he's aggressive, doesn't mean he's yelling at you. So man up. Get your mermaid panties out of a twist. And listen, because like I'm sorry, like as long as you have a good guy on your team and all that, like he can educate you, he can lead you, he can school you, he can check you. You cannot do that to him. It's not going to be pretty, especially because women don't know how to fucking go at a guy. Like, you're doing that wrong. Like, how do you? I mean, there's no way you woman can. Even if you there's how are you gonna bring that to a man? You're gonna and it's not sexy because and it's not sexist. It's not misogynistic. It's just that that's our role. All right. It's just realistic on how the world works better when men and women stay in their lanes. All right. I'm sorry, but it's been proven this whole feminist. Like, I know a lot of stuff I sound like. It sounds like, I mean, I hate women, but I don't. I got 4 daughters. Okay. I don't hate women. I just don't I don't, can't, I'm not, I don't think you're reliable enough to lead. I don't think you're capable enough to fly. I don't think you should be driving. I don't think you should be fucking in the. I definitely don't think you should be in the military or the police department or the EMT or the fire department. All right, you have no business in there. Schools, like no, like I'm sorry, but that kind of like that's like I'm with it. Well, newborn to 5 years old, I think is decently a good age bracket for where it's good for women to deal with the kids. Um, but I think pretty much as soon as like the child starts to show understanding and comprehending of good and evil, right and wrong, is when the man is more important. So I think schools are definitely something that uh, I mean, the learn and educate and discipline. I think that's a min. I mean, we could probably do maybe the president and vice president, the principal and the vice principal. Um, I think that's actually the president should be round two, maybe. If you want to actually bring this whole women can like maybe like join, but they have to join in a different way instead of trying to be just like a man. All right, and it's not working, and it's so not working with these feminist soy boy fucking men out here. I don't know what to like. No, all right, but I don't know. That's just what I gotta say. You guys have a good morning.